Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to a Friday late night edition of the Countdown City WrestleCast.
WrestleCast After Dark.
Oh yeah! I'm your host JC. Joining me this week is Tommy.
Hello.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? It's Big Mike, and the train is headed down the track here in 2023. Will we see CM Punk at Wembley?
That's good. That is good.
That's a very good question. That seems to be all the topic.
Actually, it is.
And quite frankly, it's a better discussion as far as wrestling news than what we were talking about last week. So thank God.
What were we talking about last week? It's been a long week.
Something that I guess maybe they were listening, and then yeah, because so and so, he who should not be named, was not really involved in creative, or was he? Who knows? Yeah. So.
Well, it didn't seem like it because Raw was actually a decent show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were wrestling matches, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
A lot less talking, right?
Go figure.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yeah, thanks for everyone for joining us. If you're joining us live or catching us afterward, we appreciate it. We're going to spend this episode talking about. Oh yeah, Mike's right there. We're going to talk today about Impact Rebellion, which is taking place this Sunday on pay-per-view. You can follow us on Twitter at ccg_WrestleCast. Right there. Yeah. And also check out the Countdown City Geeks website, countdowncitygeeks.com. Tommy, you're going to have to point at that one because you're the closest one to it on the screen. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
I was getting messed up when I do my left and right.
Let's get started with a bit of wrestling news. It seems to be the wrestling news. As it says at the bottom of the screen.
I was trying to attack Tommy, but it wasn't.
Yeah, so,
you attack me plenty. Leave me alone.
Yes, but normally it's just verbally. So, I mean.
As it seems to happen every time CM Punk just disappears from TV for a while, everyone kind of speculates, when is the man coming back to wrestling? And, last time it took a while. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I think this is fair to ask after the past couple weeks. Burnsy, is that really you? Sorry, buddy.
Actually, it is. But, the hey yo kind of does some
Yeah. That's him. So yeah, as we know, there's issue backstage thing after the last time we saw CM Punk on pay-per-view. I don't even remember what pay-per-view it was. Was it Double Up? No, All Out. Was All Out?
It's All Out because
it was All Out.
Dubbed Brawl Out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, with some of the changes happening with the announcements that All In is going to be in Wembley and All Out will be the following week, and I don't think they've decided where yet, or have they? I can't. I think it might be Toronto.
Hold on. Actually, I don't think I said yet, but I
can't remember.
Let me double check.
Punk apparently has made it known that he wants back in. He's willing to work with whoever it takes to make this happen. Obviously, the guy likes money, right? And, we know that there's issues with him and the Elite, the EVPs of the company, if they still have that title. And my whole thing is, never say never in wrestling, right? Could this really happen? Can they be bygones be bygones?
It has to happen, in my opinion.
Go for it. Do tell.
No, I mean, just because they're running Wembley, right? And we know that's capable of fitting 70,000, 80,000 easy. And no one believes AEW is going to get that. Now, for what it's worth, they apparently have 45,000 to 50,000 pre-registers to the link, and that doesn't mean they're all going to wind up still buying the tickets, but that's a good sign.
Right.
It is.
But you've got to make this the biggest card you've ever put on. And what better name than CM Punk? As much as we love AEW and we talk about the bubble, WWE understands about the other people, the sometime fans. And that's why we get bombarded with Logan Paul and everyone else who they bring in and celebrities and stuff like that. And why AEW can kind of do that in terms of the somewhat known wrestling things, CM Punk is a name that if you only watch WWE, you probably remember.
Right.
And let's be honest, he's the biggest name next to Jericho that they got. So
Well,
you got to bring him back.
would you say there's a good? I mean, that's the thing. Europe, and I get it. This is in Wembley, but this is really a pay-per-view in Europe. Like people, you said it. Like half the stadium is basically already pre-registered, supposedly, through this registration link. But there's a lot of independent wrestling, hardcore fans in the European scene, and AEW hasn't even made it out there yet. The pandemic kind of delayed a lot of that, and this is kind of up and coming. But yeah, if you put together a strong card, there's a chance they. What did WWE do? Like 70, 80,000 years ago there for
Yeah,
It was like
pay-per-view?
a 92. I think it was 80 something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that was 82. It was 80,000, but also I think part of that was because British Bulldog would end up being in the main event with Bret Hart. So,
But
true.
also, Tommy, it's worth thinking. Now that we're older, we know how the attendance figures for WWE works, and they were also counting.
okay, fair enough.
They also count the concession workers and like
The
if
staff.
you walked
I
in the
get it.
stadium within the last 30 days.
Mhm.
So was that 80,000 at Wembley? I don't even know, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, my thought is like, let's face it, Claudio is the one name that needs to be on the card, and you're getting a lot of
Well,
those
I
fans.
say that for any show that happens ever.
I mean,
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
especially
I
on
know,
this
I
one,
know.
with him as the Ring of Honor champion, even if it's just Ring of Honor, he needs to be on this one for sure.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I figured all of Blackpool Combat Club was gonna be there just because of their name alone. I mean, I know William Regal isn't there anymore, but
And we
their
live.
name,
Yeah.
I mean, and everything. But also, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Will Ospreay already said he would love to be on that card. And I know he has a injury right now, but I don't know if it was like year off or just like a couple of months because he
This
had
is
to
still
pull out
basically like 4 months away.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like he could be healed up and ready to go by then. And if you want to have a big European name on your card, could you imagine if we got Will Ospreay versus Claudio?
Oh boy,
Wait, no, that was Zack Sabre. Wait, who did he
Yeah, that was Zack
debut
Sabre.
against?
that was
Yeah,
Zack Sabre. He hasn't had
You're
Ospreay.
right.
That would be
You're
insane.
Well,
Yeah.
Ospreay versus
No, I agree.
We had Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy, right?
Yeah,
Is that what it was? Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, there you go.
yeah.
Is it bad that I get Zack Sabre and Will Ospreay mixed up, even though they're not really that similar, except that they're like.
Well, they're similar this way. They're skinny British dudes who you don't think can fight like they do until all of a sudden Ospreay can hit you with an elbow that'll put you into the next week, or Zack Sabre Jr. will tie you up in so many knots that you'll literally say, "I didn't know the human body could bend this way," and sweet Jesus Christ, this is painful. So
And just to add insult to injury, he'll make it the most ridiculously named thing you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
care what
let me-
anyone says. The name, that last hurrah thing, I don't care how many times I hear it. That's like the greatest wrestling finisher name of all time. Surely this year will be better than the last.
Back to the topic on this. How would you book CM Punk in this? How would you book the lead up to this? How would you get Punk involved with this? If it's Wembley, for crying out loud.
I've been teaming with FTR.
Yeah, I think Dax's idea was the best. Him and FTR versus the Elite. Look, if there's any company that overdoes, let's blur the line and shoot promo, it's AEW. I love AEW, but if there's a company that overdoes, look at me shooty shoot, it's AEW. So what better thing to lead up? And look, you don't gotta worry about Punk on the mic as far as like putting on a good promo. You tell him to tell that story and make it dramatic, he'll do it. And the Bucks and Kenny will too. I'm not always the biggest fan of the Bucks on the mic sometimes, but Kenny, you can't either. So yeah, like I'm down with that. Like either him and Omega 1-on-1 or the 6-man tag makes the most sense to me.
I'd rather see the 6-man tag because then they all get to shine for a while. I would also, honestly, if it's not them, I would say Dax and FTR versus House of Black. Literally because I want House of Black to face any 3-man team ever because I like House of Black. I also thought about because a friend of mine, because when I shared this one post, one of the posts about Punk wanting to come back, a friend of mine asked, "Can you think they can work together?" And I said, and I should have made it 3 words, but I said I got 2 words, Shawn Michaels. But I should have made it 3 and said '90s Shawn Michaels because there's a difference there. Because I feel like all the stuff that happened at All Out was egos getting in the way, and it all had to kind of come to a head, and it did. I feel like
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, you all had your blow up. Let's all remember we're grown and get over it. It's like I'm not saying that, there weren't legit angers and there can't be legit feelings, but I also think of the number of guys who in wrestling who didn't like each other and work together. And I told a friend, didn't Batista and Booker T not at all like each other? Didn't Booker T like punch him and they still had to do a whole program together?
Yeah.
Sometimes those are the best matches too. When there's
True.
legit heat there. I mean,
The best match is legit heat and best friends backstage.
What was it a year or two ago? The Charlotte Becky one after their friendship had blown up, and they did the same kind of like, is this real? Is it kayfabe? Is it shoot? And
I mean,
hell of a
people
match.
forget about this one, but Matt Hardy and Edge.
Yeah.
When that ordeal blew up, everyone forgets about that. But we know when Matt returned, yeah, it was a short match. I don't know if it was booked that way or if it was worked,
That's
but they were nailing into each other on that one.
Yeah.
People forget about that.
Speaking of which, happy birthday, Lita.
Yeah. Oh, good segue. Right.
I mean, just
I didn't know it was birthday. Yeah, throw that out there.
I saw that online. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, that's probably not true because it's probably after years. But I feel like that was kind of the genesis of the modern age of, is this real? Is it not real? Because the internet was starting to become a thing. Matt was using it.
No.
That was one of the things at the time.
No, I think you're right. I think that really was when it really started because Matt was released and he had
Right.
actually been to ROH at that point a couple of times before they quietly re-signed him and then they started that program. So no, I think you're right. And this is when the line really was blurred because people were
He
legitimately
posted that on, I forget what social media it was, but he posted it. It blew up. That was like the first, and then he got fired because of it. Yeah.
I remember where it was posted. It was MySpace because that's where I had that at the time, and that's
He was
how
like,
old-
Lita, you're out of my top 8.
Yep.
Get out of here, yeah.
Bro, hold on, real quick segue. Do you know how legit that was? Like, I actually had a friend message me when I did that. I was like, "You could not be seriously upset about that right now." Like, yes, I was like, "This is the stupidest argument I've ever been a part of."
You guys were able to fill up all 8?
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus,
Sorry, how to do it.
Yeah, after that happened, like, when Tom was unfriending people, right? No. Yeah, so, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that blows up. But, I mean, I would throw this out there. What about Punk in a stable? What about Punk in the Blackpool Combat Club? What about something like that? I mean...
So...
Okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, good. So just real quick, like, it's not a bad idea, but to me, if you're going to bring him back to a stable... Yeah, Blackpool. I just feel like it almost has to be like a true heel turn to really make it. Which I guess Blackpool would kind of be that, or because they're the big bads right now. So yeah, I was thinking of maybe having him actually join the Elite, but the Elite are kind of becoming face now. So
yeah, it would be too. I don't know. I don't know if the fans would buy it if he joined the Elite, especially knowing what's going on.
Okay, so I actually did legit have the thought that when he came back, he'd turn heel, not immediately, but soon enough.
Yeah.
And honestly, and as sacrilegious as this is for me to even think this, I thought about it. I was like, what if he actually joined MJF?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
What if he's having a match with say Darby Allin because that was Punk's first match, and he turns on Darby and helps MJF win or something. It would take me back to the day when Punk was signed to WWE, but in his last match in ROH, he beat Austin Aries for the world title, and then 3 shows later, he signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor title belt.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, he could not have gone more heel in that moment if he tried. The only way he could have gotten more heel in that moment is if he had actually had to have killed someone. And even then, the fans might have asked, well, what'd that guy do?
I actually do have that DVD, The Summer of Punk, and it's
Do you?
fucking amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So
The only thing I want in the
So
modern
do I.
version of that, real quick, is I want MJF acting the way he did with Cody when he was pretending to be his friend. I want him coming up with nicknames for Punk. I want him like being all buddy buddy for like a while. That's the modern
Yeah.
twist I need on it with MJF.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Philster, let's get this done, buddy.
I of course, I did kind of laugh at what MJF said. It's like, guys with morals never make it in this company, in this business. I'm like, I mean, that's not true at all, but okay, dude,
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat.
Well, yeah, it's MJF. He lies in everything he says, and people just believe him sometimes. Like,
I know,
he
but there was
knows
like
what
one.
he does.
There was like one. I remember this specifically. There was like one fan, like in the crowd, like you're like yes, like you like raising. I was like, dude, what the hell? What wrestlers do you watch? It's like I think Mick Foley has something to say about that. But
Hey, for a while he gave in to the greed as Dude Love.
yeah.
well, to be fair,
Well-
though, he also then gave us one of the best wrestling finishes of all time with him and Stone Cold at Over the Edge. So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, there's more to see. We'll see how this plays out. Let's see how AEW plays this out. Let's see if these rumors are really true. Let's see if Punk starts to make an appearance and if the fans start to pick up on it. So, all right.
I'll be interested.
What's coming up locally here, wrestling-wise? Well, next weekend, April 22nd, we have a doubleheader. Mission Pro Wrestling on the 22nd, and Pro Wrestling Element on April 23rd.
Yeah. I might throw my Cash App on the screen because I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough money for all this,
I
especially.
was taking a drink of water when he said that.
So if y'all want to sponsor me the way they sponsor wrestlers at shows nowadays, I'll be cool with that.
Yo, we should do that. Like you're the
Good
sponsor.
work. Look, I'm just going to say this right now. We know the debate. Teachers aren't paid enough, especially here in Texas.
that is
Whatever you got to do
right.
to help Mike out. Yeah, we would appreciate that. So,
Yeah.
yes. Follow that a couple weeks after that, May 6th, Branded Outlaw Wrestling, BOW, and then, of course, May 21st is RCW. I know Hybrid has one coming up. I don't have the date for that. Do you
Oh,
guys
it's the
remember?
29th. It's the weekend between.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is
yeah.
the 29th. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's Hybrid Mania 3. They got some matches going up already. They're having a tag team
do have
ladder
that written
match.
Ooh, okay.
They're having a triple threat women's match for the title. The Treats and the Treat in Training. So I guess you can figure out what that spells.
Yeah,
Wrestling and its acronyms are never.
that's one that will never go away.
They never-
Show the Iron Claw,
They've
everybody.
got another 6-man with Jimmy Wang Yang, who's
Nice.
apparently making an appearance. I forgot who he's teaming with, but yeah.
Well, him and his daughter show up every now and again. And she's actually really cool because
Okay. What wrestlers don't live in San Antonio, just out of curiosity?
I don't think they live in San Antonio. I think they live in Austin.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
Yeah, close
but speaking of San Antonio, I don't know if you guys saw this. Funaki's oldest son has started at Hybrid just the other day. They
Wow.
announced that he started training because Funaki's still a trainer up there, so he's training his son to be a wrestler. So.
Signs
Okay.
are getting old.
Yeah.
You want to say signs we're getting old?
I know Mike's
Yeah.
about to tell a story I know about.
You
Yeah,
know
go
what?
for it.
Before
Yeah.
I started teaching, and maybe my first year of teaching, so we're talking 18 years ago, pretty much. I was working at a place called Sylvan Learning Center.
Oh, okay.
And- Yeah, and one day I'm sitting there, and someone's like, "Hey, isn't that guy a wrestler?" And I look out, and it's Funaki with his kids, bringing them to get tutoring help.
Jesus
So I don't know
Christ.
if these are the same kids or there's a kid below them. But yeah, so that was like 18 years ago, and now they're training to become wrestlers. So yeah, we're getting old.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
But
Oh yeah, I have a nephew getting married this year. Yeah, no, this is not.
Yeah.
This is not a time. This is the worst timeline.
No, never mind. We'll get off task with that. But yeah, nah,
Yeah.
it could be worse.
So,
It could be worse.
quick
You're right.
question, you guys. Is there a chance Drew McIntyre is on his way out of WWE?
I've heard that rumor, and
Yeah.
I don't know. But I feel like that rumor was only intense last week for obvious reasons.
Supposedly on April 2nd, he just tweeted 3 emojis of the waving bye sign. And apparently he's blacked out everything on his Twitter account and removed his bio. So,
So the thing is, I heard his contract wasn't due up till the end of this year. So this would be a little premature. I feel like because Bailey did the thing right after WrestleMania about all even good love stories don't end the right way or whatever. Bye. And I was like, no, if you followed her social media, it was part of the story she was tweeting with the 6 woman.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people do that when they're about to take a break to kind of give that intrigue.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to say yes yet. There has been a lot of talk about that. And the only thing, because I got to be honest, like I can't imagine why.
Mm-hmm.
Like other than being screwed over by COVID, he's still one of the big men. They put him in the big match when they went to Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, as much as Roman Reigns' run has been dominating, he should have lost several times without his bloodline, and that was one of them because that was another one that Solo came out and
So Solo debuted, right? Yeah.
Wasn't that the first one? Yeah.
Yeah. So
because the Usos couldn't get into the country,
unless there's like a money disagreement or something else, I can't imagine why he'd want to at this point.
Well, Wembley.
But just for that.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they have no creative direction for him now. Who knows what his contract situation is? I've heard it's expiring soon. It's expiring this or that.
That was the thing. I heard it was expiring in the summer.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
And even if he were to ask for his release now and it's granted, you give it the 90 days, he's still eligible to get to Wembley.
Sure.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if it's a storyline, all you're doing. I guess that's because, like, if it's a storyline, all you're doing is plugging in hype for the for the competition show.
Yeah,
everyone's going to talk about him showing up there. So I don't know. Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well, honestly, I feel like it's twofold. I feel like it could do that. I feel like he may be just taking a break, or he could just be kind of doing the FTR thing of teasing like crazy that he's leaving and then not doing it because FTR did that for like months. And honestly, everyone bought it. And then that Monday Night Raw happened. They're like, "Oh no, they're not going back."
Yeah.
And like I said in our chat, I said they noped the F out of that real quick.
Well, I don't follow the. I don't listen to the podcast, but apparently Dax says a lot of he's just very blunt about things.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a comment from him where he straight up said, "It's not that it was literally that Monday night where they changed their minds." But they had decided before, but he was basically like, we just felt like numbers to Vince. He's like, Tony Khan felt, we felt like Tony Khan cared about us as people. To Vince, we only ever felt like numbers on a spreadsheet. So, I mean, there is truth to that. So.
All right. Well, let's jump into Impact Rebellion, guys. Pay-per-view, only the second one of the year for Impact. Of course, they run the Impact Plus shows, but this one kind of got changed a bit with injuries. Basically,
which sucks, man.
Yes, the two top champions in the company the two top championships are vacated right now. Vacant holds 2. He's
So is this Impact Rebellion, or should we just rename it Vacant Rebellion?
Vacant Rebellion, possibly. Yeah. So it does suck because
we all know Vacant's the true head of the table. I'm throwing up my ones for Vacant because let's just be honest here. Vacant has been the head of the table for a long time. Damn it, Bernstein.
What is going on here? So. Yeah. But this one, Rebellion's been becoming one of my favorite pay-per-views. Honestly, a lot of crazy stuff goes down, and it kind of sucks that this got hindered a bit by some injuries. But still, there's plenty on this card that's worth talking about, and we're gonna get right into it.
It could still be it could be a show of the year contender easy. Just with
yes, for sure. Now, I want to point out that there are 2 matches scheduled for the pre-show, which starts at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. There's Heath and Rhino versus Champagne Singh and Shera, the tag match. And the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships, the COVID are wrestling the Death Dolls, excuse me.
I was like, who?
The Death Dolls, excuse me, for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. So there is going to be a title match on the pre-show.
So make Tommy pick the women's tag match.
Well, we're not picking that, but I'll make Tommy. Tommy, you can decide right now. Kylie King and Taylor Wilde against Jessica and Rosemary. Who you going with? This won't
Death
count on your
Dolls.
record. I just want it. Death Dolls. Okay.
I'm
So
gonna go Death Doll. See,
Does this match take place in Tommy's dark universe that he's rather fond of? And I don't
it didn't before, but then Taylor Wilde became a witch and Kylan King joined her, so now it does. It's the sequel to the original. It's the sequel to the first movie I already wrote in my head. So,
all right. Well, that's what's going on in the pre-show. That alone has some intrigue. But let's get into the main card itself. 7 matches scheduled for the main card. And we're starting with a last rights match, PCO versus Eddie Edwards. You guys have to remind me, what are the rules of a last rights match? Because I feel like it changes every time I hear this.
I feel like it's different all the time.
You have to get the priest to give him a sacrament to win the match.
Okay.
This is why
last rights are.
Now I remember.
Okay.
Okay, so previously a last rights match was basically a casket match where it was lowered into the ring, and you had to load him in there. Apparently, though, for this one is going to be more of your basic casket match. It's going to be on the side of the ring, I assume. So,
Okay.
But they're still calling it a last rights match as it is. So, yeah, I still remember that.
Priest and an old priest.
I still remember the very first time they did a last rights match. They brought a casket down. They added some pyro, and the fans started chanting "Fire Russo." You guys remember that?
Yes.
Was that WCW or was that Impact?
That was Impact.
That was
I think
Impact.
Russo was
Russo-
writing for Impact. Yeah.
Russo was
So,
still writing, and all the stuff he did, everyone hated. But like,
Yeah.
they loved the wrestlers, but hated the.
But wasn't there something similar at the end of WCW between Sting and Vampiro?
Yes, there was.
I
Yeah.
kind of remember, or the Kiss Demon or something. I remember the casket coming down in a very similar thing.
Yeah, but see, I don't think they were chanting "Fire Russo" yet because the internet again wasn't as prevalent, so they didn't know
Yeah,
who to
that's
blame
true.
yet. They were probably just chanting "This sucks a lot," but they didn't know who to blame yet. Now we all know who to blame, and if we could go back in time and go into the crowd and say, "Hey, dude, chant Fire Russo,"
what are you talking about, bro? Bro.
well, Tommy, who you going with this one, PCO or Eddie Edwards?
Honestly, Eddie Edwards only, and 2 reasons. One, Eddie Edwards does have a match against Kenta at some point for the strong openweight championship for New Japan, and 2, because PCO is probably the most losingest wrestler I know of. That it does not matter one damn bit. It doesn't matter because I feel like at this point he knows he probably doesn't have much longer left in his career. So he's like, yeah, I'll lose every match. What the hell do I care? I have made plenty of money in the past couple of years. What's wrong with you?
No, I don't mind losing. And I'm going to throw myself off of something. Whoa. We just need you to lose. Nope.
No. I must throw myself. It's like, sweet Jesus, PCO, just lose the match. No. What's that ladder doing over there? Never mind. It's coming with me. You can die from there. Dead or alive, it's coming with me. That doesn't make sense in this context, PCO. No one stopped him.
This is an arm wrestling match, PCO.
Yes, from the top rope.
Also,
There's a parking garage outside. I'm going to go jump off of that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Also, it still freaks me out that dude was like the Quebecer guy.
Yeah.
It's really like watching old Undertaker footage when he was like Mark Callis on the Indies and then seeing the Undertaker. It's like you like if you didn't tell me that was the same person, I would not have guessed that was the same person. Never.
Yeah. Well, that all being said, Mike, are you taking the Quebecer or are you taking Eddie Edwards here on this one?
I think I'm going to go with Tommy and Eddie Edwards.
Okay.
With no confidence whatsoever.
As am I. Please, PCO, look, all due respect, I'm glad he's wrestling, but he looks halfway to that casket right now, at least in his wrestling career. Dude is old. I worry, honestly, it's like, I worry about him, like, getting severely hurt. And it's just because, like, it's like, man, you know, like,
but then
crazy.
he still does crazy shit.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were about to get severely hurt. I was like, I think that ship has sailed repeatedly, and he just
I'm
gets
more
on
worried
that
about-
some bitch and rides it off.
Okay. I'm more worried about watching one of his matches, him getting badly hurt, than I ever was about a Sabu match. And Sabu's been through some crazy shit. So, think about how old that dude was doing crazy stuff.
Okay, hold on. I was gonna say, okay, honestly, JC, you just proved you're a better person than me. I can't remember one time I was worried about Sabu.
He's been doing some messed up stuff, man. I was like,
That's what I'm saying. You're a better
Sabu?
person than me. I
What
can't think of
about-
one time I was like, oh, we're not.
All right. What about
Yeah.
Necro Butcher?
Bro.
Well, hold on. Actually, funny you bring that up. There's a page I follow on IG that follows Japan wrestling closer than I do, and apparently he's been killing it in Big Japan. So, I mean, it's in tag team matches
Of course.
mostly with another guy.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And speaking of matches where two people hate each other, but the best matches, Masada Necro Butcher. Oh man, Sunday Bloody Sunday, old school. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
I probably have that DVD still. I probably do. Probably.
Did
I
they
think
hate
I do.
each other,
Mike,
or
don't
they
you have
just
it, Mike?
I
No,
probably
they
did.
legit had beef.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I remember Masada knocked him the fuck out at one point. So yeah.
I was like, or is this just like best friends that just like to kick the shit out?
No,
of
Masada talked about it on a shoot interview. Like when they booked it, he was like, "Man, I know where this is gonna go. You sure you want to do this?" And sure enough, Necro tried to stiff him. He just knocked him out. So he remembers. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay, 6-man tag. Dirty Dango, Joe Hendry, and Santino Morella making his return. We did see the Cobra come back on Thursday, by the way, in case you didn't see that. Going up against the Design. Tommy, where are you going on this one?
This time, usually I do pick Hendry, but I'm going to pick the Design on this go around because I just think they're due a win as a group since they, essentially beat up, locked up, and killed Eric Young. I mean, I think is he still in that jail that they left him in? Anyway,
he's in the same hospital as William Regal. So
okay, yeah, man, that hospital does not let anybody go. Jeez Louise.
No. Insurance sucks.
Damn it!
I'm gonna say this one really depends on the placement on the card, and
That's fair.
it's God. But right now, I think I feel like Santino has to go just for the comedic part of it. What they're doing with it. So I'm just gonna throw it out there and say, Dango, Hendry, and Santino. And normally I would take the team that actually has a name. That hasn't really seemed to work out for me this past recently, so I'm gonna go with the Team Santino, Team Cobra to get the win here. I made up a name for him. Mike, what about you?
I'm going to go with Dango, Hendry, and Santino as well, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure. Who is the least charismatic on that team?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a.
Is this gonna be on a star test? Because I know that's coming up this week. Because
just choose C for everything. You still have a good chance.
Okay. Do you know I had a friend who did that during a test and got a 70? I hated him. I studied. He did.
Okay, real talk. No, seriously. This is something they tell the kids. Like, kids who struggle don't do as well. You go through the test several times. You do the ones you know how to do. Then you do the medium ones. When you get to that list of questions you don't have any clue about, pick the same letter. Don't guess. Because if you guess, you could guess all of them incorrectly.
Yeah.
But statistically speaking, if you choose one letter, you're bound to get at least 3 or 4 out of them, if not more. And, C or B usually tends to be the ones to go with. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
Just choose C.
This test-taking hack brought to you by teacher's retirement of...
or just study and learn your stuff, but I mean...
Yeah, that would be better, of course.
Yeah.
So. All right. Hardcore War. Team Dreamer versus Team Bully. Team Dreamer, of course, is Tommy Dreamer, Bohinder Gujar, Frankie Kazarian, Killer Kelly, and Yuya Uemura. And Team Bully is Bully Ray, Brian Myers, Kenny King, Masha Slamovich, and Moose.
Can I just ask the question?
Sure.
Why are Dreamer and Bully Ray the leader of groups in 2023 fighting matches with bigger names on their team that should be in better positions probably?
I go one further. Why do I get to feel like this is written in their contract wherever they are? At some point in the year, they have to have this kind of a match where they're
because apparently guys who are in ECW don't have any other feuds but with each other, just so we can call something hardcore.
I was going to take it further than Mike did because he said bigger names than him, and one of those bigger names is Masha Slamovich.
Yeah.
Yes, and Moose.
So I'm going with Team Bully. I mean, I feel like Dreamer always loses these, so I'm going to go Team Bully here. Tommy?
I'll just go Team Dreamer just to be contrary because I don't know, but I really don't. But I'll go Team Dreamer.
Sure. All right, Mike.
No, I can't physically pick Bully Ray for something. I'm going to have to go Team Dreamer. I tried. I don't know if you saw. I tried. It would not come out. My body will physically not allow me to pick Bully Ray.
Oh my god, if we were on Twitch, I'd say like somebody clip that. That was great.
That man said I can't physically.
Take this time. If you are watching this live as a fact, please comment. Let us know your picks on these matches here, especially now that we are getting into the title matches. So let's go. Oh god. Impact X Division Championship. A three-way elimination match. Trey Miguel versus Jonathan Gresham versus Mike Bailey. This isn't one fall to finish. It is an elimination. So there's going to be 2 pinfalls or 2 submissions or one of each in this match. So, Mike, who you got coming out of this one with the X Division title?
Oh, that was funny.
I'm going to go with Mike Bailey because he's been really good. Although he probably will be going after the Impact title after whoever wins this one. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Mike Bailey.
He could use option C.
Yeah, but he'd have to have the division. Yeah, so he'd have to have the title to do that. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy?
This is one of the hardest ones for me to pick. By the way, I like to say this before I pick one. Why is it Impact shows are like the hardest ones for us, especially on this show? It's like, son of a, they make you.
They book it so well. That's the thing.
I was
That's the
going to say,
challenge.
they don't always book it to what we're used to at WWE. So
and of course that's in the best way possible. It's like they keep us guessing, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like he could pull it out, so I'm gonna go ahead and go Trey Miguel. And that is the most unconfident Trey Miguel pick I have ever made, saying Trey Miguel's name on this show.
Well, I'm going to say we're all lone wolf in this. I'm going with Jonathan Gresham because I expect him to walk out of this.
I knew you were going to.
We're all lone wolfing this.
We're all lone wolfing this. Yeah, so the thing with Gresham right now, I feel like, okay, he's got a contract he's in. He's going to hold this X Division title to have in his back pocket when it's time for option C. And whoever's that champ Bound for Glory, he's got that shot, you know?
Here's the twist.
What?
What if he cashes it in on the women's champion, assuming Jordan Grace wins? Boom.
Well, they have wrestled. They have wrestled each other in PWG.
I know.
And I don't know what happened after the match, but I'm sure it was good for both of them anyway.
I'm pretty sure as healthy as their marriage is, he's cashing it in every night. So just throwing that out there right now.
JC, that was a quality statement, and I have no notes. Very well done, my good sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
I will clap on that one.
I appreciate it.
I not gonna lie, I didn't see that coming. They did apparently, but I didn't.
I'm sure Jordan does every night, and she doesn't mind though. But anyway.
Nope.
And by the way, anyone who's watching, don't get on me for what I just said. Jordan posts her thirst for her husband all the time on social media. So
Look,
yes.
And we told you this is WrestleCast After Dark, man. Right? You got to be ready for that mature content.
What was that old Conan O'Brien thing when he was running late after like an NBA game, the nobody's watching segment when you would just do whatever? Yeah.
Just do whatever.
All right. Impact Tag Team Championship in an Ultimate X. Let me just point this out. When I told my wife what was on the card, Tina, like I told her this match was happening, her eyes just lit up like, whoa. So, Bullet Club defending against the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yo.
It's sure to be a show stealer. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ace
hands
Austin,
down.
Chris Bay against Shelley and Sabin. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that other matches that are happening, I would have made this the main event, honestly. I really would have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it very well still could be.
True.
You know, with the trust that they have to set up and everything, it'd be a pain unless they open the show with this. But you know, it's
one hell of a follow that though if it opens the show.
Yeah.
Don't they often just leave up the X throughout shows like that?
They used to, but every now and again, lately they take it down.
Oh, okay.
It depends how it's set up. You know, and I don't know if they're gonna like raise it lower or something like that. You know, because they're not gonna do the last race. They're not gonna do the whole bring the casket down. So it's possible they may like have the truss up, bring it down, secure it, and do all that stuff. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what the setup is going to be there in Toronto, so we'll see.
Well, that's important to my pick. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no. Well, Tommy, where are you going with this one?
It's Ultimate X. And Chris Sabin's in it. I can't not pick the Motor City Machine Guns. Like Sabin's win-loss record in Ultimate X matches is he's got the best out there,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing against Austin and Bay at all, because it's Austin and Bay. They're amazing. I just see like the Machine Guns are having this tag team resurgence because they're the strong openweight tag champions still, I think, right?
Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, they
No
are.
one-
That's
Yeah,
right.
they are. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
So,
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Machine Guns. You know,
okay.
again, tentatively. I won't mind if I'm wrong on pretty much everything I've said tonight. By the way. So.
I've got Bullet Club finding a way to retain, and whether that's somebody else in Bullet Club getting involved, who knows? You know,
Bullet
Jay
Club
White. No, I'm
Gold.
kidding.
right, dude? Can you imagine? Um, and especially with them in Toronto, I feel like some crazy shit always happens in Canada with these Impact shows, and this might be the match where it does.
I think it's fair
Yeah.
to just say crazy shit happens in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
wrestling wise, for sure.
so I'm going Bullet Club. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bullet Club too. Not that I don't. I mean, I would love to see the Motor City Machine Guns win one again, but I feel like it would just be with the Bullet Club way to, like you said, kind of have another person come in and assist and help them retain. So I'm gonna go Bullet Club.
All right, Impact Knockouts Championship. Basically, how this happened, you know, when we spoke last week about it, Mickie James was still the Knockouts champion, but as it was revealed last night on Impact, she's not cleared to compete, still injured, so she relinquished her Knockouts World Championship, which means this triple threat match is now Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. The title's vacant, held by vacant, and
Did Tony Khan make her hold on to it, or wait, never mind.
I don't know. I am going to go with Deonna Purrazzo on this one. Hasn't held it in a while, and I feel like this is a division right now where you need a good heel championship run. And either way, these two one-on-one, it's going to be freaking epic.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's
looking
gonna
forward to
be
that. So, but I'm going with Deonna. Tommy, what about you?
I'm going Jordan. For no other reason than it's Jordan. Yeah. So.
I made it to the obvious. I knew Tommy was a big Jordan. So, Mike, where are you going with this?
Before I make a decision,
Yes.
Lord.
let us shout out. No. This one's actually kind of serious.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Jordynne Grace for the hard work of like 6-7 months that she put into for her bodybuilding competition.
Yeah.
That she apparently won.
Wow.
And then also kind of cool because after that she was like, "Cool, now I'm eating for the next 2 weeks."
Yeah.
You know, because she had to be so disciplined and stuff. So
Yeah.
shout out for that. Like that, the amount of work she's obviously put in to transform herself and her body, and for that, like that's just crazy amazing. I couldn't even imagine.
Did you see her like when she posted something about after she had like went on one of her any binges of like the fat she gained, and I was like, Jordan, no, that's
Yeah.
not fat. No, it's not. It's food. You ate food.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel
like everyone said the same thing, but you
Yeah.
earned it though.
yeah, that's the thing. Like I can only imagine after getting yourself that cut, it would feel like you
weird.
ballooned, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
no, she looks amazing.
Yeah, fair enough. Amazing, yeah.
That being said, I've been trying to waste time to try and figure this out to subconsciously.
That's why I was hoping you stall there for a little bit.
And I still honestly, I have no idea. So I'm gonna go with Deonna Purrazzo, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
For the record, we are all so unconfident tonight with this.
Impact is Impact,
man.
you know?
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
now, speaking of matches we're not confident about, the Impact
Oh.
World Championship. With Josh Alexander on this one, we weren't that confident, but, well, honestly, I would have picked Josh Alexander because it is his home country. But
Yeah.
Kushida versus Steve Macklin. Tommy, I'll let you go last on this one because I know you're conflicted.
Thank you.
Mike, I'll let you go first. What you got?
Are we grading the level of confliction here? Because I feel like
We
we're.
could.
all-
I mean, wait, if we do, let's go back to the top
Can
of the
we throw
card.
confidence
and go
points on these
all
picks?
K comes before S. Steve Macklin has more letters in his name. Kushida's name ends with an A. Steve
Divided by
Macklin.
pi
but
to 10
Kushida
digits.
always cosplays from Back to the Future.
It's true.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go with Steve Macklin so we can have a power couple running Impact.
I was about to say that too. Yes, I'm going with Steve Macklin as well. So yeah, Tommy.
In all honesty, I have a heart pick and I have a head pick.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Your heart is
head
probably
pick,
Kushida.
Yep, my head wants to
Pick
agree
your
with
stomach
you guys.
pick. You're hungry.
My head wants to agree with you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and betray my logical thinking and go with my heart, and I'm picking Kushida.
What good
All
has
right.
logic ever done for anybody?
It's never helped me not once. Anyway,
I guess he's expecting that power couple to go 1-1 at least. Maybe that's why he's doing that. I don't know. So
but like with the Miz, like with Jonathan Gresham and many other wrestlers we've talked about, Steve Macklin, if he loses here, he still doesn't lose when he gets home. So there's no loss here for this man. Because even when he loses, he wins. When the Miz got knocked out at WrestleMania, I'm sure that was really weighing heavy on him when he got home. Yeah, I'm sure that was such a bother for him.
Yeah, something about Steve Macklin cashing in, am I right? Callback, sorry.
That's a great callback. That's a great callback. After dark shit. All right, so how can you watch Impact Rebellion? It is this Sunday, April 16th. Starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. The kickoff show, pre-show, is at 6:30 on YouTube. It is taking place in the Rebel Entertainment Complex in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and is available on Fight TV for $40. There's also a way to watch via YouTube through the Impact Insiders and Ultimate Insiders program. I believe there's still also payment. I'm not sure the details on that, but you can also check into that as well. But Fight TV is your simple way to do it. $40, and you own it for life, basically, as long as it's there on the Fight TV website. Again, if you buy this, if you watch it through a Roku, highly recommend just buying it through the Fight TV website and then just load it up on your Roku. Easiest way through the Fight TV app.
Hey, quick question, real quick. How are we halfway through April? Wasn't WrestleMania like 3 days ago?
Feels like it, right?
It does. And here
how are we at the 14th, 15th, 16th already? What happened?
You know why? Because the Raw after Mania was so bad, it aged us 2 weeks.
Or maybe I've tried to forget that period of time.
I see what you did there. Yeah. So, Impact Rebellion looks to be a great show. Looking forward to it, and especially that Ultimate X Tag match. Can't wait. So, all right. With that, we'll move into our 1 minute warning segment here. Mike, do you have something this week?
I do indeed.
All right. Whenever you're ready, sir. Set and go.
So, a couple of weeks ago, John Moxley was on his wife's podcast and made the odd comment that as much as he loves AEW and everything, he's never been in a place where there's so much damn drama. And I kind of agree. We've kind of referenced earlier that AEW kind of does it to itself. Mm-hmm. Now today, Thunder Rosa was on Busted Open and talked about the continued, storyline that a certain dentist won't let go, apparently, and said, hey, I told people that I wanted to give up the belt. Tony said, no, you're going to be interim, just like you did with Punk. And this was a news story, which I could have sworn she said that when it came out. I thought she was interviewed when that all happened. I may be misremembering things, but I thought that was like a story from the beginning that she wanted to relinquish, and Tony was like, no, you're going to keep the belt. Yeah. Anyways, apparently also on AEW All Access, even Tony Schiavone was like, Britt, you need to get over her and move forward. And as much as I love Britt Baker and what she's done, it's true, because she talked a lot of shit, even though she's on Twitter going like, I didn't say anything, I just asked a question. But did you? You did a lot more. And Thunder kept quiet for a long time. So I'm glad, A, that she's finally able to like share her part of it and stuff. Because she was getting crapped on a lot unfairly, and we don't do with that here. So,
yeah, not in Thunder Rosa country. We don't know.
No, not at all. We will bring the chunklas.
Damn right. All right, Tommy, you got something this week?
I do.
All right, are you ready? Set and go.
This goes to more of like how I think wrestling hatchets can be buried in reference to Punk, the Elite, and apparently Jericho, because apparently he wasn't happy with Punk either. But the reason I bring that up is because over WrestleMania weekend, Lodo Negra posted a picture of herself with none other than Tessa Blanchard. Apparently, they have squashed that beef. They have talked things, and she even said how it's good to see people can grow. So and hey, people are imperfect, and if a person knows the mistakes they made and can learn from them and become better, more power to them. And I mean that sincerely. It's like, because I legit do like Tessa Blanchard. It sucked when all that news came out about her. It made me like her a lot less. But she's on this right road to make it, rebuilding bridges and making amends. Then more power to her, and that can happen because it's wrestling. There are people, and these people do have egos sometimes. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But hey, it happens, and it can work out. Thanks, Mike. I know my time's up.
Sorry.
Jeez.
No, sorry.
No,
He's playing you off the stage, bro. Jesus,
man. Man, it's the Apollo Theater. He's a Sandman. But yeah. So, but that was it. So
that was a nice
That's a great reference.
sorry. Like that was the closest thing I could think of. I was like, "Ooh, this will work." But so that was it. But I hope, I really do hope that all this stuff can get squashed. I really do think all this with AEW was just growing pains. That's what happens when you have a lot of big names in one place and that are already established big names, and that kind of happens. So, hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah.
And also, you said someone made a comment about, coming back to Wembley because he loves money. I legitimately do think, though, that Punk loves wrestling.
I do too.
The storytelling of it and doing it in a certain way. But I also think he comes, I don't know about Jericho, but Jericho's also Jericho. So I take everything he does, as great as he is, with a grain of salt. But I think when you come from the way he did versus like what a lot of these indie guys rose up through, I think sometimes, as much as he hated his time in WWE, he realized that certain things that they did well, which was probably the organization, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Like I can kind of see why it's like almost different generations. Yeah, I agree with you. I really hope they can get that resolved.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I'm just going to quickly say, I kind of said this earlier in the show, but how with the absence of Lockdown being a consistent pay-per-view, Rebellion's becoming one of my favorites every year, I have to say.
Yeah.
This year, obviously with the injuries, it does kind of suck not having Josh Alexander get to wrestle, but Kushida versus Steve Macklin, Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo, Bullet Club versus Motor City Machine Gun Ultimate X. But looking back on past years, I believe last year we got Moose versus Josh Alexander. Remember how that whole story played out, how that started? And can you believe how 2 years ago it was Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega?
Title
for title. It's been 2 years, guys, and that was still behind closed doors when that happened. But everyone was intrigued with everything, title for title, everything on the line, and Kenny Omega walked away with both, guys. So
Sorry.
Rebellion, at least over the last few years since the pandemic, has become one of the stalwart pay-per-views on Impact, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm interested to see what they do. So,
Yep.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. It's been a long day.
It has been a long week, yeah. So, but thanks everyone for staying up with us again. In Chicago City WrestleCast After Dark. Again, Impact Rebellion is this Sunday, April 16th, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be on Fight TV. Pre-shows at 6:30 on the Impact Wrestling YouTube channel. As for us, we will be back next week to recap Impact Rebellion and also look at a couple of local shows we mentioned earlier. Mission Pro Wrestling and PWE are both running shows in San Antonio next weekend. It's going to be a busy week. We'll take a look at both, see what we're looking forward to, see where we plan to be at as well. That's on tap for next week.
Yep.
Yes. So,
the real shuck it, duck it, quack, quack. Sorry.
As always, check out the Counter City Geeks
Tell me
website.
he did not just say that.
And of course, visit our Twitter at CCG_WrestleCast. Let us know your thoughts on Impact Rebellion before we talk about it. Let us know what you're looking forward to with Mission Pro and PW Entertainment as well, too. So, thank you everyone for joining us this week, for staying up late with us, and for watching us after the fact. We do appreciate it. Where's my damn music? Over here. All right, just head off here for after a long week. But over here we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake. Boom.
See you next week.
The sky, boy.
Adios, Gunther.